the cloud. Hi guys. So we have tried this morning multiple different ways to stream this coffee chat. Well, I think we're having coffee to Facebook. We tried Facebook Live. We tried streaming through Zoom and it was just not working. So we decided to do it this way. So my name's Sally Neff. If you're watching me on my page, you know who I am. This is my friend Melanie Turner. And Melanie and I were connected in July, right? July.
Yeah.
Okay. So crazy, not crazy story. Of course, everything in life happens as it should. And when the pandemic hit and we were in quarantine, through Park Lane Jewelry, I started doing Zoom shows. And I met these amazing women from all different states. I can't even remember like where all I was doing these shows. And so in June, we transferred over a little bit and we started doing Facebook Lives. And there was a hostess of mine. It was very early of June. And she had girls who were joining from South Carolina. And at this point in time, you know, we were trying to figure out a way to transition our business where I typically was going into people's homes and showcasing my jewelry. And this group of women, I said this little prayer before I started, because as I've transitioned into a new space with Park Lane, I have always just prayed for the right people, the right energy, the right talent, the people who need this, that first of all, I see them in the space that they are. I recognize the fact that maybe this could be something that would be beneficial to them. And so there was a girl who showed up in one of these Facebook Live parties and her name was Tracy. And so Tracy had immediately shopped, had a cart, said, of course, I want to have a party. Okay, so Tracy has a party. Tracy had an amazing party. It was huge. Guess who didn't come to the party? Melanie. Melanie didn't come to the party. But Tracy then, I'm talking to Tracy and I'm like, oh my gosh, you were so great at this. I think that this would be good. And she was like, girl, I've already been thinking about it. So Tracy from Florence, South Carolina, joins me while I'm on vacation in Georgia. This is the beauty of working a virtual business. Tracy then tells me, okay, so my friend Melanie is going to love this. And I'm going to launch Melanie. Melanie's going to have a show. And then Melanie, here she is. She's been with us for a little over 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Melanie, that's a long introduction, but I feel like that part is very important because it's just when you open up your space to actually request and pray for the right people, look at what happens. We're like good friends now. We've never met, but we hang out like this all the time. And so Melanie, tell me a little bit about you. Like, where are you from? Florence, but tell me about your family.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get to that. But one thing I want to make sure, it was actually 2 parties that I was invited to. One was before Tracy. It was,
I had a circuit going in South Carolina.
You had a circuit. It was, and
I had a circuit going. And the whole time I was like, the right people are going to show up in this, there's something happening down here. There's a lot of energy.
And I didn't even join her show. And then with Tracy's, I did join, but I didn't do anything with it. And then, you know, I signed up to host a party for her, just kind of to help my friend out. Like, honestly, that's kind of how that all happened. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm Melanie Turner. I live in Florence, South Carolina. And, you know, Sally lives over in Texas, so we have yet to meet. But I have a husband named William. We've been married for almost 19 years. And we have 3 kids. We have a teenager, an almost teenager. Those are both boys. And then we have a little girl who's almost 8. So we're busy people.
Yes, you are. And your family is so precious.
Well, thank you.
I love watching them. How many dogs do you have? I'm dog. We got to include the fur babies.
You'll hear those probably any time now. There's 2 of them and they're loud.
Right. Okay. So you have been here for a little over 3 months. Melanie has had incredible girls join her. She would not probably, you know, share this information. She's earning a trip to Bermuda very soon. And so backtrack in your career. You aren't new to direct selling.
Yeah. So I've actually been in direct sales for 11 years, going on 11 and a half years. And it was one of those things that I never saw myself getting into even 11 years ago.
I don't think any
Um,
of us do.
yeah, but the industry just, it works because it's, allows flexibility and all those great things. And so, yeah, I've been in it for a while and I love it. Do you want me to talk about like my particular journey, like into Park Lane or
Well, I mean,
what?
I think you can share what other, but you had never sold jewelry.
Never sold jewelry. In fact, wasn't really much of a jewelry wearer other than just, I had some staple pieces that I love to wear. I definitely wore jewelry. I just would never consider myself to be, like really into jewelry. So it wasn't something that ever was on my radar,
Mhm.
quite frankly. So
Were you looking when
okay,
Tracy shared this with you? Were you
yeah.
looking for something?
Okay, so the way that all worked out was absolutely, I was not looking for this. I will say that. I was looking for something for sure because, so my story is really long, so I'm not going to get into all the details, but the gist of it is, I'd been pretty successful in my last business, and I took a step back for many reasons about 4 years ago. And it was great that I did because I wouldn't have said yes to a lot of other things like volunteer work and just different things. I didn't have the margin in my life before to say yes to some other things. So it created a great space for me to be able to say yes to some other things. And so, I was just really enjoying living in that for several years. And then, like your children start to grow up, you transition. Like life doesn't just stay the same, it changes. And if you don't change with it, you could miss out on stuff. And so as my children were getting older and I was realizing that I had more margin to actually work an income producing job, I then began open to going back to work. However, I was not going to go back to work in direct sales. Because I had stepped away from a pretty large organization, I just kind of thought like my time there was done. And in fact, I actually last year revisited that same journey and started back on the path to leadership again, and actually arrived there. But then, based on lots of things, I quickly redirected again. And at that point, I really, really, really felt like my time in the direct sales space was over. And I was okay with that. Like I was so okay with it that I applied for a desk job this summer that would have been a full-time job,
Mhm.
working, 7:30 to 4 o'clock every day, 12 months a year. So it would have been every single day. And I was really excited about that opportunity. Like I truly felt like that door had been opened for me. And so I was ready to do that. And it was going to really change our lifestyle. Like my kids are still young in the sense that they're not driving themselves places. So they are still dependent on me for certain things. Well, as luck would have it, I didn't get the job. And that actually wasn't luck. I know now that's because there were other things out there for me. But when I didn't get that job, I said, okay, I'm not going to be upset about this. I feel, my prayer had been, if it's in your will, Lord, let it happen. And
Right.
so when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, okay, well, then you've got something else for me out there. This was like in June.
Mhm.
And I just said, okay, I'm going to be open, hands open. Like I'm open to whatever you have for me. And so I just kept waiting for another out of the home job to open up for me. And I was going to run for it. Like I really was. I was that not thinking about the direct sales space. And so when people started having these jewelry parties, I'd never heard of the company, first of all, never
Mhm.
heard of it.
Mhm.
Okay. And I frankly just wasn't very interested for whatever reason. I really can't even pinpoint. I think we were just busy doing live. And I was just kind of like, again, it wasn't on my radar at all. So I wasn't, I wasn't pulled to even go look. But when Tracy, my friend here, had a really successful show with you as her stylist, and she was so excited, she called me up and she's like, "Girl, I'm gonna join this company." And I'm like, "Oh, good for you. That is awesome. You're gonna do great. Hey, you've always supported me in life and in business. I'm gonna be one of your first hostesses." And that's what I did. But I signed up to be a hostess for this, not having a clue what it was. Like, I'd never seen a piece of the jewelry. I'd certainly never bought a piece of the jewelry. So she and I had lunch, and she was wearing it. And so I got to see it, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. At least now I can ask my friends to buy this stuff and feel okay about it. I mean, that is seriously what was going through my mind, because I
Right.
was just helping my friend. And then she ended up coming over to the house, and we did the show together,
Mhm.
just because we were both in the industry. I know how
And
to,
you did it virtually.
we did it virtually in my house right here where I'm sitting. We did
Right.
it together. We had the best time. I
Mhm.
had a very successful show.
Mhm.
And that was when I started to realize that maybe this was that thing that I was supposed to do. And I mean, the rest is history.
And so what was it like switching from a product category? I mean, you had time in between one product to another, but switching to
Mhm.
jewelry, what have you seen as far as like the product category of jewelry?
Yeah, so it's very different. There's lots of things I love about it. One, most women love jewelry. They may tell you they're not a jewelry girl, and some people really, really aren't, but most women are jewelry women. They just don't know it yet. Like, maybe they haven't experienced with it, had fun with it. And then when they do get their jewelry, they're happy. They love it. Like, it makes them feel really good about themselves to wear it. I know I feel better when I have on jewelry. And so that's been fun. It pretty much fits everyone. I mean, I guess rings, we can, we have to vary a little bit on ring size, but pretty much it's for everyone. In a season where that we're in right now in the world, it's a fun way to add something that makes someone else feel good about themselves. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Those beautiful earrings. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I just, and so it's been a lot of fun. Like, I mean, that's honestly the best word I can use to describe it. It's fun. Way more fun than I ever thought selling jewelry could be.
Okay. And so virtually, doing it all virtually, what are you noticing? I mean, as far as, the excitement of people shopping or people hosting shows or just how it's going. Like,
So virtually, I've done almost every single show virtually. I've had one home show, and we actually
right.
did a home show, and then we ran a Facebook virtual show parallel to it. But it's giving people an outlet. It's giving people something to do and get their mind off the current state of whatever it is that they're dealing with, at the moment. And it works. Like, we just have these proven programs that we have implemented that works. And I truly feel like the reason it works is because we actually have something to offer every person who is involved in the process. So that's three people. That's your buyer, your customer, it's your hostess, and it's you, the stylist.
Mhm.
And when you're that confident in what you have to offer someone else, you can't help but have a good time. Like, our customer special is so daggone amazing. You know that. Like, by golly, it is my job and my goal to make sure you get the best deal. And if you pay too much, it hurts my heart. Like, it just does. It hurts my feelings. But I have something to offer you. Like, you can't just go and click on a website or look through a catalog and just pick one, two, three, and then you check out and we never talk. Like, no. It's an experience, and
It is.
it's fun, and people feel like they're winning.
They are,
Uh,
I know, right?
People feel like they're winning at the end of, like, they're buying a bunch of this jewelry, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I had fun doing that. And then they're coming back for more, by the way.
Right.
That's one thing. The hostesses, like, I literally, the home show that I had that we ran it simultaneously virtual for the ones that couldn't come, her show was by far the biggest show I've had yet. And she literally said to me, what am I going to do with all this jewelry? Like, this is free jewelry that she got and
Right.
discount. I think she spent $100. She got like $800 worth of jewelry or more.
Right.
It was ridiculous. She's like, what am I going to do with all this? I was like, oh, you'll be fine. And come to find out, her wish list was actually longer than what she even got for free. So she still buys. I'm not lying.
So the hostess program, have you seen a different, like the hostesses? Hostesses are happy.
They are so happy, and they're not struggling to get their
Right.
friends to come and check it out. Like, a lot of times hostesses, the biggest objection I've had in the business for hostesses not wanting to host is for fear of basically pestering their friends. Like, people don't want to be known as that. And so, but they know when they have something that's affordable, fun, and will actually, like, perk them up a little bit, and that they can actually, like, my biggest thing I tell people when I'm having a show is, let me help you buy what you want that fits your budget. Like, I don't want people spending money with me that they don't have. And I mean that. And
Right.
so when I can honestly, truly tell somebody, listen, we're going to work within your budget, no matter what you tell me your budget is, I feel good about that. And so my hostesses know that because typically they've shot with me. And so they know the process. And so they're comfortable with it. And then our program, where it's not based on sales, it's based on number of orders, is just very freeing for the hostess. Because she's like, you need to tell me somebody that, maybe she can't afford to spend $100 to get me to a certain goal, but she can buy 20, $30 pair of earrings. She's still helping me out. She's helping you out as much as that person that spent $200 or $300 with you. They can't believe that, you know?
Well, I love your passion. It just makes me so, I mean, so what I have
That's how you got
always heard,
started.
like you share with me is the fact that, Sally, I just want to have fun. I just want this to be fun.
Yep.
And what has been the most unexpected part of this? I guess.
Oh, that's kind of a loaded question because I've had lots of unexpected things, but I think the biggest unexpected bonus for me has been on the stylist end. Like,
Mhm.
I realized that this is what I'm good at. This is where I have been gifted. And it's okay to do something that you're not used to doing, or that you're not comfortable doing, or that you thought was done and dead and over. Like, it is okay. You owe yourself that. I owed myself that to say yes to this and give it a try. And I've found confidence that I had lost. I have been rewarded in ridiculous ways, some tangible ways, but honestly, probably the most rewarding are the intangible ways. Um, and at the end of the day, I feel really good about my choices, and the choice that I made. And kind of along the side of that, like, because I don't know who will be listening to this, but I almost didn't want to do this with you. And you know that, like, I was terrified. I was like, I don't, who am I? Who am I really? What are people going to think about this? Especially people that know me and they know my previous history, what are they going to think? And I realized that feeling of that afraidness, that fear, was because I was making it about me. And it's not about me. Like, it's not about me. I know there are ladies out there who they feel like either there has been, their time was up, and whatever. And I'm not saying you've got to come on and be a jewelry stylist, like with Park Lane or with me or with you. I'm just saying you owe it to yourself to come with open hands and receive things when they're presented to you. And if you feel like that's something that's going to benefit you, you owe it to yourself to try it. And there's always going to be people who are negative and who are going to discourage you. So you can listen to one of two things. You can listen to the naysayers and the negative over here. And they mean well, honestly. This group over here I'm talking about, they mean well. But they can get in your head, like, and that's kind of, Sally, that's something I wanted to touch on back in the summer when I did, have the show, and I got back, I could feel that fire building up in me again, like, oh wait, this is kind of my thing, and I'm not doing my thing, and oh, but wait, I'm sure this isn't right. I actually had some negative over here telling me that it was a really bad decision. Like, it's not gonna, that can't be good. And I almost let it stop me. I almost let it keep me from trying, honestly. Like, I was so close to letting it keep me from trying. But I decided to listen to this voice over here that was a lot louder. And this was the one that said, girl, you've been praying, you've been asking, you've been open, you did what you thought you were supposed to do, and that door got closed. Maybe you should try this door. And that's what I did. And I think so many times we let this over here be louder than this, and we miss out on the opportunity. We miss out on so much. Like, I would not know you. Like, I would never have met you
I
had I let this
know.
over here win,
I know.
you know?
Okay, so someone who is watching, I love every single thing you had to say. I'm just so grateful. I adore you. Okay, but let's talk about the person who might be watching who has never done direct selling before.
Yeah.
And they've never done anything like this. And maybe they're kind of like, I don't know, could that be a solution for either financially or for just my mindset or feeling part of a community or whatever it may be, whatever that person's searching for, and they've never done this before, what would be your advice to them? I mean, you kind of already answered it, but
Well, my advice to that person would be, why have you never tried it? Because in this day and age, in 2020, like most people know about the opportunity of this industry. Like
right.
there was a time 11 years ago when I started that um, there weren't, I mean, there wasn't a ton of opportunity out there,
Right.
or maybe the old opportunities had kind of given it a bad name, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
And so, but over the last 11 years, like these side gigs, I mean, most of us know that's where it's at. I mean,
Mhm.
but you let fear, or you let a bad experience that maybe you had as a customer or as a hostess, or maybe there was a person out there selling that annoyed the mess out of you. And you're like,
Right.
I am not doing that. So what I would say is evaluate that. Like, are you listening to a rumor? Are you listening to one bad experience? Are you listening to the wrong voice telling you, oh, you can't because of this? Or are you open to maybe trying something? Because here's the thing, it's not hard, but you have to be consistent, and um, you have to be positive, and you have to know that if you put in your best effort, you're going to succeed. Like I truly and fully believe that, especially in this space that you and I are in. When you're set up for success like this, it's really hard to fail. Like it really is hard to fail. So I would also say, even if you fail, you're going to learn something about yourself.
Right.
So why not give it a try? That's what I would say to that person.
I
If
agree.
you're thinking that it is at all possible for you, you have nothing to lose. The buy-in is so reasonable. We have $99 kits right now. I mean, really. So it's not even like it's going to put you out financially, even if you're strapped for finances. But just think about the what ifs. Like, what if you could pay your car payment with ease this month? What
Mhm.
if you could go out and buy that extra thing that you've been putting off because your family budget didn't allow it? How does that make you feel? Like, that's a pretty good feeling when you have those. Well, gosh, if I could just have a little bit extra. Think about that feeling, and let that be the voice that speaks louder than the fear.
Well, I wanted to make sure I asked you that question because you do have incredible people who have joined you and they have not done this before. And I mean, I just see
I
those
would tell you that
those ladies so excited, like
some
they're
of the
so
people on
engaged, they're happy.
mhm. Some of the people that have joined me, y'all, they're, well, any given month, I have people under me that are selling more than I'm selling. Sometimes it's expected when someone has been a leader before in an industry like this. You're expected to do well or to produce a certain amount. Like I get that, but I'm just telling you, I have ladies on my team who every month sell more than me.
And they've never done this before.
Not to this level, no.
And they're just having fun with
They're
you,
just
just having
because
fun.
you got to keep it in perspective. Like, as much as I love jewelry, it's jewelry itself is not life changing. I mean, let's be real. Like, there's no true jewelry emergency. So it's what you make of it. It's what you make of the experience, and just being open to opportunity. And relationships. I'm huge. I love relationships, and I feel like that is one thing that our company really harbors, and gives me a great vessel to do that with, especially with our customer buying program. Like, I look forward to the opportunity to individually working with people, because I
Right.
get to know them. I get to know people. And
Yes.
I mean, this is a relationship business. And I think what happened for me in the past, I kind of was becoming more transactional. And
Mhm.
I realized that's not who I am. I'm
Mhm.
not a transactional person. Like, I want to get to know you. Like, I want to know you. I want to know your story. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know all those things. And
Right.
this just gives me another opportunity from home to be able to do that. Because in this environment, a lot of people don't want to meet face to face. They just don't, and I get it. And so this is just such a great opportunity to be able to harbor new relationships with people. Um,
Well,
while
and then on that same thought, right now, I mean, going into the holiday season, you have a solution for people
Hmm.
and you can help them and they can pick up a little sparkle along the way as they're, buying giftables for family and friends, teachers, whomever.
Yep.
And, it just makes it so much more fun because
It
they're
is more
excited.
fun.
They've
People
had
are definitely shopping right now. Don't buy into whatever the people are not shopping because they are.
yes,
Um,
they are.
it's a
I
great
know.
time to be shopping.
I know. Well, I am so grateful that you joined me this morning. And even though we had a couple difficult um, technicalities with technical issues, I think we got it. I think we've
Okay.
got this. Okay. All right.
Shopping.
Congratulations on all your success. You're doing amazing work.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate it,
we're so
Sally.
grateful that you joined with us.
Me too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, babe.